Hi guys, Terry here. Hey, if you've been watching my site lately, you know that I've been on this big slant to digitize as much as I can. So I am digitizing my scrapbook albums. I'm using my Brother Scan and Cut. It is a built-in 12 by 12 inch scanner. So I'm loving scanning my scrapbook albums and then putting that to music, and then uploading it to YouTube and sharing it with family. So it's a way that we all can enjoy the scrapbook albums and watch them on our televisions. So I've got the steps on my website. I'll have a link below to my steps on how to use your Brother Scan and Cut to scan those scrapbook albums. So I'm loving that. But you know, a part of scrapbooking is going through all of our photographs that we have. So I have a lot of old pictures that my parents have given me. So I've kind of pulled out some of the highlights from each of us three kids and the different houses that we had growing up. So I don't know that I'm going to scrapbook all of these, but I do want to digitally have these scanned and captured so that we can keep them for years, longer than the scrapbook albums would survive. And also I think what I want to do is declutter. So some of this stuff will be in the cloud until I'm ready to do something with it. So whether it's me or it's my brothers or their kids someday, doing something with the photographs. So first thing at hand is to capture the photographs. So a few years ago we bought an Epson, it's called an Epson FF-680W, and it's got wonderful software with it. So I wanted to show you just quickly today a quick video on how to use that software, how easy it is, and then how you can scan these batches of photographs. So let me pull up the software here. So the software for this is called Epson Fast Photo. This one, there was 3 different scanners when we went to buy them that were available from Epson. This one is mainly for photographs, so I think the software is built in to enhance the photos. I also can scan documents with this, and it works great. I can save them as JPEGs or PDFs, and love it for that. But let me show you how I'm using the software. So you bring up the software, and it's got this really nice feature here. When you click Start Scanning, you can tell it what year it is. So if I look at what my mom wrote on the back of these, this was a batch from 1976. So I'm going to put 1976, and what this prompt here is doing is letting me name the files as I scan this batch. So I'm just going to call it, I know this was the Belfield house, so I'm putting that. So if you look at the file name preview here, it's got the year, and then that way when I sort those photos, they're sorted by that file name, which is the year, and then Belfield, and then it's going to number these pictures. I can click here and tell it to create a subfolder. So normally these files would go into my Fast Photo folder on my computer. I'm having it create a separate subfolder for all of these photos. And then I'm going to start scanning. So when I start scanning here, it comes up, and you should see how fast, I'll record how fast this goes through. So that took it about 1 minute to do the 23 photos. And I'll tell you, I have it set to the 600 dots per inch. Let me show you those settings. I found the software very easy to use. If you notice here, it has the front and the back. My mom was wonderful at putting the name and date on the back of the photographs, something that I did not do, but she was very good at doing that. But under the settings, what I like is you've got a lot of options. You can tell it what folder to put the files to. On the enhancements, it's got an auto enhance. I didn't turn that on. I found I didn't need to. I'm removing red eye, and I'm got this option here to restore faded colors. I seem to like that feature better than the auto enhance. And then I told it to, once I've started doing batches of them and found that I was deleting the original and I was just keeping the enhanced one, I decided to come in here and set this to directly apply the enhancements once I was familiar with it and that I like that. Otherwise, it will create a second copy. You can do this setting here to have a second file created. So you'll have the original, you'll have the second one, and then you also have, if it has anything on the back of the photo, that'll be the third picture. But I told it to directly do it to the scanned photo, so I didn't have to go back and remove the original. But you try it out for your photos. The scan settings, I have it set to 600. It will go faster at 300, but I think it does it very quickly. So you put that stack on there, it's auto-naming the files for me. I think that's working great. I tell it JPEG, but you could save it as a TIFF. And then I also tell it to scan the back of my photos. And what's nice is if there's nothing on the back, it doesn't save that as a file. So love that. And then in the advanced settings, I did the auto rotation, I did the curled photo correction, and the reduce lines and streaks. I just left those be check marked. And then I think that was everything that I did. And then it puts it on the computer with these files here. And let me show you those. I'll just go into my, under pictures, under PhotoFast. So here's the folder it created for these files. And I'll insert here a picture of a before and after, because it is remarkable the contrast that's really enhancing on some of these older faded pictures. So notice the name here, it's got the 0001A and then it's got B. So this is what's on the back of that one. So what I've been doing is going back in here and I'll rename this file instead of it being called, I mean, I like that it starts out with this 76 Belfield, but then I'll probably put that it was my brother David. So depends on the photo. Some of them I'm renaming, some of them I'm not. But then what I can do is once I delete all the back pictures here, if I wanted to rename them, I'll upload that to Snapfish so that I've got them up on a cloud service. Snapfish is free. Shutterfly just changed their policy. They want you to buy something from them. So I have no doubt that Snapfish is probably going to go to that model too. But I have had all my digital pictures up on Snapfish for years. And I do occasionally buy prints from them. But so far it's been free. But yeah, I'm loving this software. I'm loving that once I have these digitally copied, I'm not going to keep the originals. Like I had one big tote of all of these. I'm uploading them. I'm sending a link to people to say, hey, here's where these are. And then if I decide to do a scrapbook layout on them, I can. I'll print them as probably an old. I'll print them maybe even as some of these older pictures are smaller, so I could even print them as like a 4x4 print. But and then I don't have that bucket of these photos anymore. So it's what my kids are grown. I've done their scrapbooks. Now I'm looking back on pictures that I had from when I grew up, and I want to have them electronically captured. I don't know that I'll scrapbook these. So so I don't think there's any need to keep these old copies. Plus they're starting to fade. So so I find it handy. It's something that you could be sitting there watching TV and just loading these in the scanner and naming the files and then uploading them. So it goes quickly. Probably the hardest part is getting started. But if you have some means to scan them, the scanner, I'll have links to the scanner. It was not cheap. I think we had some Best Buy rewards to use to buy it. So it's not inexpensive. But you know, there's a cost and a weight to having these old photographs, you know, sitting around. So if you're like me and you're starting to go through the parent stuff and go through your stuff and declutter, you know, it's just time to at least capture these before something happens to them, before they're faded or water damage, or somebody just loses them. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, I'll have links to the information, and I'll have links to a video where I unboxed the scanner and started using it. I'll have a link to that too. But yeah, if you're starting this process, put down in the comments, you know, how your process is coming along. I kind of, I'm decluttering the whole house, so I'm kind of bouncing around, pulling stuff out of certain closets and tackling it a little bit at a time. I just don't want to have my kids have to go through all the clutter and the junk that we collected over the many years. So if you're doing this process too, put down in the comments how your process is coming and how it's working out, and tips for others. So thank you for watching. I like to do videos about card making and scrapbooking and sometimes quilting, and along the way give you some organizing and technology tips. So subscribe so that you can see more of these tips, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks.